All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, make sure you smash the subscribe button or the follow button before you leave. We put out 2 podcasts every single week. If you ever want to get a question in the queue to be answered on a question and answer episode, just shoot us a message on Instagram.
All right.
How's that sound for a plan?
Woo, fantastic.
I got a sponsor, but
Yeah.
Oh, do you already have one?
No, I bet I know who the sponsor is.
I bet you don't. I bet you're wrong.
All right.
Today we're sponsored by whoever makes those shorts that you're wearing.
Yeah.
Y'all, she won't stop
These shorts
talking.
won't leave my body.
She said that like 6 times today. These shorts will never leave my body.
This is a new collab. I mean, this is not really the big deal. American Eagle / Aerie. Everybody who knows what American Eagle is in these stores, they're the same company basically. Aerie makes like workout and pajama and all that kind of stuff. American Eagle makes like clothes you go out in. Anyway, this is a new thing. It's like, I don't know, it's on their website. It's like a collab between the two.
They're workout clothes.
And I got these shorts out on a whim. Like, I want to try this material out. This is the only color they have. They're like a light, like sky blue. I love them. I just did a workout in them. Color? I ran, I lunged, I squatted, I jumped. I did all the things. I didn't have to touch my shorts once. Like, they stayed in place. They're thick, so they like look good, but they're like amazing. The material is amazing. I'm gonna be like hand washing like them and wearing them every day if I don't have access to a washing machine.
Ridiculous. All right, so there you go. American Eagle / Aerie. Thanks for sponsoring the podcast.
I wish you would sponsor the podcast.
I always thought American Eagle was kind of on par with Old Navy, disposable clothing that's good for maybe one season. I guess we'll find out.
I always thought they were like the lower level of Abercrombie back in the day.
Oh, they for sure were.
It was like, yeah.
If you couldn't afford Abercrombie, you got American Eagle.
There we go. I can't afford Abercrombie.
Back in the plaid button-ups and cargo short days, I had a lot of them.
They have a lot of, like, when you look at the reviews on there, some people will say, like, this is an Abercrombie dupe, you know. So I think it's still a thing.
Oh, man. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That's been Fitness Update, July
Fashion updates
2024. The other thing that's going on over here at the ranch that has nothing to do with fitness is we unfortunately found that mice had taken up rent-free living in our Airstream.
This was like my final safe space here. You know, like I've come to terms. We live out in the country, and I say it's worth living like we do. And you just have to deal with some vermin. That's I've like come to the realization this is part of it, but it's worth it to me. And in the house, like, it's not like we got mice running all over. We've never like literally seen like one mouse in the house, like when we're actually in it.
A couple years ago.
But like, there's, we'll get droppings here and there, and we're like, okay, we do things. But it's a bigger space. And the Airstream was my last sanctuary of like, this is where I could go if things really went crazy in the house. I could go here. And we were getting packed up for a trip, and we saw some droppings. And I actually, freaked out a little bit inside, but not too much. I was like, okay, we got some time. We'll handle this. We thought we cleaned it up. He got on his hands. He got underneath the Airstream, taped up every hole and little nook he could find. We're like, okay, we kept checking it every day. It's fine. We go in there yesterday, and it was like an explosion of mouse droppings, and like it was devastating to me. Like I'm heartbroken about it. There's Jonathan. The good news is they were all over the bed, all over my side of the bed. That was the real good news of like where most of them were.
The concentration.
Oh my gosh.
So we got like 3 days left before this trip, so we're in all.
I don't know if I can stomach
attack mode.
Yeah.
No sign of any since yesterday.
Well, since yesterday.
I'm sure they're a little bit freaked out by the cleaning and activity that's been going on in there. Anyway, so that's the update on that.
My fear
if you have
is
any tips
that
for us,
they're like they are not in there right now, like where you can see them. But my fear is that they're somewhere in like the inner workings, and they're gonna like come out while we're in there, and I can't handle that.
Come crawl across your face while you're sleeping.
Not be.
You'll probably just reach over and punch me.
I'll be like, "One Airstream free to a good home. Please take this away from me."
Yeah, if you want to sign up to win our Airstream,
don't want to see it again.
All right. I've said this. I always forget to announce the subject of the podcast before we spend 10 minutes jibber jabbering. But anyway, today we've got a good topic for you. Something that we've been talking about together for, I don't know, last couple of weeks or so, and that you've been doing. So we're like, wait, let's turn this into a podcast. Why don't you tell everybody what the subject
This is my
of today's
idea.
episode?
Stop trying to steal my thunder.
It was your
Basically, I
idea.
came up with this whole idea. He had nothing to do with this. Basically, I'm going to give you guys 5 little tricks, tips, hacks that I've been using to drop some weight this summer. You know, I don't like to be on a restrictive diet plan or counting my calories or logging my food or anything like that. I know it's necessary sometimes if you have certain goals, but it's not something I love to do. When I feel like I'm restricted, I feel like it's like it compounds the feeling of like, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not. Maybe it's just that feeling. You're like
Yeah.
restricted. Like
Even on day 2.
yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. I can't handle it. So I don't really enjoy being restricted.
Yeah.
You might think.
Which is interesting because
Yeah.
you've gone through periods of a dedicated cut or fat loss period, like 2-3 months where you were tracking every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember those, like having these conversations back then. So maybe this is something that's
I think
changed
we
over
did.
time.
No,
Maybe
we
you
did.
just kept it bottled up.
We did.
Well, so why did you even decide to do this? Like, what's up with the wanting to lose a couple pounds?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about like, you know, I don't weigh myself. I try not to obsess about my body weight, but I do weigh myself daily so that I just know what I weigh, and it's just like keep an eye on a metric. That's basically why I do it. And I had noticed that my weight was like starting to trend up. You know, a little like, you know, you weigh yourself and it's like 0.2 or 4 higher, and then you're like, weigh it again. You're like, okay,
Tenth of a pound,
now it's a
quarter
little
of a
bit
pound.
higher. It's a little bit higher, and I'm just noticing this trend, and I'm like, okay, let's not freak out. Maybe I'm just building some muscle, you know. And then I go along a few more weeks, and I'm like, well, maybe it's like water weight, maybe it's bloating, maybe it's my hormones, maybe, you know, you like, please let it be water weight, like something, you know. And I'm going along, and I'm like, okay, my weight still is trending up. And so I finally got to the point where I was like, I think I need to just kind of reevaluate, look at what I'm eating, make some changes, and see if the weight continues that way or if it starts to either level out or drop. And that's how this all came about.
I like that because you didn't freak out, but you thought about, okay, there are certain things that I control that affect my body weight, and there's certain things I don't control that might affect my body weight. Let me take control of the things that are in my control just to see what happens instead of just stressing out or like doomsdaying, like, oh my gosh, like my birthday's coming up in a month. Like this is all downhill from here, freak out mode, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's kudos to you for being willing to do that. And I think like the tips that you're going to give in this episode are specific to you, but I think like if you want to steal these ideas, listener, you can, but I think there's ways to apply all these different things to your individual case too, and I think we'll talk about that.
And the reason I am sharing this is because I do think it's like I said, I don't like to be on a restrictive diet. I don't like to feel like I'm like on a diet, and I don't like to really count my calories or log my food. And these are little tricks that I've done that actually worked. My weight did stop going up, and it started trending down. And so these things actually worked, and they didn't like ruin my life. They didn't make me feel like, you know, we've had 4th of July, we've had guests, we've had all kinds of things going on, and it did not affect my lifestyle at all.
I like it.
So that's why I'm sharing them.
All right, let's get into the first one.
Five things I've done.
You've got the list, so you've got to intro them too.
The first one was I did make some selective cuts to my diet. For an example, Jonathan makes our breakfast, our Digital Barbell breakfast every morning. He does eggs and oatmeal, and I asked him to eliminate cheese on my eggs. Super simple. He likes it on there. He's been adding it to mine. I didn't really care about it, and it's just something I've been eating, and I'm like, I won't miss it. So things like that to me are so easy because it's not like you're removing a meal or a thing you eat or an item or a snack or something like that.
There's no deprivation.
It is like, I won't miss that cheese on there.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate here. Does cheese make you fat?
No.
Then why would eliminating cheese make you lose weight?
Because that's, you know, whatever you're putting on there, 60 calories that I'm never going to miss, that I can drop super easily from my day.
Right.
And I did that. I looked at what I'm eating, and I did that throughout my day. If there's other things like that I was doing, you know, maybe and some more examples can be like you're using a certain kind of milk additive to your coffee. Look at the, calories on that. Is there a lighter option? Super simple things that you can just like make a swap, but aren't going to affect your mindset and your, hunger levels and anything like that.
Yeah. This is like the first step we take with a nutrition coaching client is after we observe their diet, we look for those swaps that we can help them make that automatically cut some calories out without any kind of sacrifice or restrictive feeling. And boom, the progress starts rolling right from that. So
yeah, because this is something maybe you don't even think about. I don't even think about the cheese on there. Maybe you don't think about like what the coffee creamer you're using is. Maybe there could be a lot of things throughout your diet. So just doing selective cuts, not like eliminating a food group, eliminating a snack as a whole, but just making selective cuts and swaps and changes.
And people love concrete stuff. So I would say if you're really wanting to use this tip to get the fat loss needle moving, like try to look at the servings like she's talking about with the cheese and try to make your cut go at least like 100 or 200 calories throughout the day if you're a female, and probably closer to the 200 to 250-ish range if you're a guy. If it's something like you're just removing 25 calories of something, it's not going to make any difference. It has to be
that's what I mean.
Something
this is my
significant.
breakfast option, but you do that throughout your day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it will work in your real life.
Okay.
Numero dos.
Second thing I did was I started to weigh my protein and carbohydrate sources. I've always weighed my protein sources because I just like to make sure that I'm getting enough. But I don't weigh my carbohydrate sources. So, my serving of oatmeal in the morning, a serving at rice at lunch, a serving at rice at dinner, or whatever, potatoes, whatever those things are. And, I've weighed and measured a lot throughout my life. And so I already have like these habits of like, I kind of can eyeball stuff on a plate. But if a year or so has gone by since I've weighed these things, I could be
our eyeballs grow.
Eyeballs and stomach grows a little bit, and you could be adding a little bit more. So just to like make sure that my portions are kind of like what I'm expecting that I'm eating, I started paying attention to those.
Yeah, I've used that trick in the past too, and it's amazing how my eyes will grow over time. That small cupped hand of rice like becomes a cup of rice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that one.
And again, this is not like I'm not eliminating as a food group from my diet. I'm just making sure that the amount I'm taking is an accurate amount of what I feel like I should be eating. You know, like
you're not putting like 3 grains of rice down.
Yeah.
You already know about how much rice you need in a meal to get the right amount of carbohydrates. So
so this could be 50 grams, 75 grams, 100 grams, whatever it means for your for that meal for you, for your goals, but just getting an eyeball on what that looks like on your plate and doing that, for like 2 weeks or something, just to make sure that you can accurately pull that amount out every time of the container or with the spoon,
And if you're not working with the coach and you don't have any idea about portions or how many grams of protein or carbs might be right for you, you can download our free calculator. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And our intent for you doing that wouldn't be to do that forever, but you'll create that awareness and you'll learn how many calories are in each thing that you're eating, and you'll know like what we recommend for your particular goals. You can even use this for muscle building. You need to know how much of a surplus you need to be in if you're trying to gain muscle and gain weight. So it'll work both ways.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I like that one. What's next?
All right. The third one, this one was an elimination, but I felt like it was it was something I was doing out of habit and not something I needed, so we usually out of like our routine is we have dinner and then we have a yasso bar as like our after dinner snack. And then
dessert.
I was into the habit of, especially if we ate dinner early, of having a snack after that popsicle snack, like, in 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour later. Like I'd get some yogurt and a piece of fruit, nothing crazy, but like cottage cheese and a peach, or grabbing some rice cakes with something on them, just getting this snack at the end of the night. And I decided like, I think I'm just doing this out of habit. So I made it a point to stop grabbing that. I was like, I've told myself once I eat the popsicle, that's the last thing I'm eating that night.
Yeah.
And this is one that did take me, because, it is a habit and your body is used to that habit. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of hungry, but I was like, I can just drink some water, or like, I was not really I was not really hungry. My mind was telling me that I was hungry. So it took like 2 or 3 nights, and then I didn't even really think about it again.
Yeah.
And so I think that has had a big impact on the number, because that was probably another anywhere from 150 to 250 calories I was eating at the very end of the night that I didn't really need. I'd already had plenty of protein that day. I'd had, plenty of calories that day. It was just a habit.
Yep. Pro tip, if you're going to take this tip and run with it, if there's some food that like she's talking about, like if she was going for the cottage cheese and whatever after her dessert, you might want to not buy those foods for the time being or get them out of the house, because if you continue to have them around, it's going to be much harder to break that habit. So yeah, set yourself up for success by cleaning house. Give it to your neighbor or take it to work. All right. Is that number 3?
That's number 3.
All right. What's next?
This summer there's a lot of things going on. We have had people staying with us. People do trips. There's there's always stuff
we live
going
in a
on.
Vacation town.
Yeah, there's always people coming to visit us. But I think throughout your whole year, there's always a time where you can be like, there's a lot going on right now. But there is a lot going on right now. So I've decided I'm choosing my indulgences. We've had a lot, like you said, we've had a lot of guests come into town, and taking people into the city is like one of our favorite things to do. We like to show off where we live. We're like, we love it here. Isn't it adorable? And there's a restaurant called Community Pizza that we like to go to. And we love to take people there because it's like an outdoor restaurant. It's very
good vibes.
Good vibes. The whole city, you can just you can take in what's going on in the little town. Anyway, when we go there, there's something that I like to eat. And
tell everybody what it is.
It's a chicken avocado. It's a pizza place, but they have fantastic sandwiches because they use like the
pizza dough, I think, to make the bread.
As the bread. So we get like a chicken avocado sandwich, and then for my side item, I get the sliced apples. Because I'm really there for like the community. I'm there for the vibe. I'm there for the sandwich. I don't care about whatever else they serve, like the fries
other option
or
is
the
French
chips
fries,
or something like
that.
that.
Oh, no chips. Yeah, you're right.
So I get the sliced apples. That's the one example, just choosing my indulgence. Like we had a bunch of people here with kids, and we bought like snacks for the kids. I tried to just I'm not going to indulge in everything that we purchase for the kids to eat. That's for the kids. If we're going to do like one dessert on the 4th of July, I'll indulge in that. Basically just thinking about choosing my indulgences, trying not to indulge in everything that's offered, because I think that we're always faced with a ton, from the work break room to, someone's birthday that you sort of know.
People giving you things.
People giving you things, to just going out to eat, to all the things. We have to just think about choosing our indulgences and which ones mean something to us and which ones.
Yeah, making moments about moments.
Yeah.
I think some people will hear that and be like, oh man, she's talking about restriction. Like I have to eliminate doing all those things.
No.
So think about your diet as a whole, and you're currently maintaining your weight at a certain level of having those kinds of indulgences in your life, however many per week it is. For you to start to lose weight, you don't have to stop doing all those things completely. You need to do them less, and that will automatically make you eat less calories than you are now, and that will start you making progress. So it's not about eliminating all fun. It's about choosing the times where it really matters to you and putting it on the back burner on the times that you don't. And those are the calories that you would have normally eaten that you didn't. And boom, you start making progress like that without dieting or hardcore restricting. That's what it's all about. What is number 5?
All right. Number 5 is reprioritizing movement. As it got hot this summer, we did stop walking as much. We can't, our road here is like a black tar asphalt, and it's super hot in the summer. I mean, it's when it's in the 90s or so, the dogs cannot walk on that. And so we have really stopped doing there's some weird noise out there. I think it's a construction next door. It's okay. We have stopped doing afternoon walks with our dogs.
Yeah.
And I had gotten okay with me ending my day around the 8,000 step mark, which, normally my normal steps were between 10 and 12, because we would, do our day and then our workout, and then we'd go, for a nice little walk with the dogs. And I always oh, I crushed my steps, and I was just okay, 8,000. Okay. 7,500. Yep. And I had started getting okay with that.
Yeah.
And to change that, I started doing a 10-minute walk before my workout. And if there's no movement or walking or running in the workout, a 10-minute walk after if I have time.
Yeah.
And that little thing, just my steps are back up where they should be. And it didn't make a huge impact. I'm not okay, I got to go hit the street for an hour right now. Yeah. It didn't make a huge impact in my day.
Yeah.
It but it made a huge impact in my movement and my steps.
Mm-hmm. And plus, you are just a happier person when you get your steps in and you're active on purpose like that too.
Yeah, like I've talked about before, I use my steps as just like a log of like how much, my activity level, like did I move a lot today, or was I, sitting a lot? Sometimes sometimes work catches up and you're just like, I felt like I was sitting at the computer all day long.
Yeah.
And these little things, like that's why we love having this little treadmill in our office, is because this really a walking pad. You can pop on it for 10 minutes. You can even, he made a little desk, you can even do something easy on it if you really wanted to, and just get some movement in.
Yeah, I like it. So now you're up to around 10 or 12,000 again.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get like 18,000?
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing if we're doing like yard work or pack, just stuff around the house, like.
I like it. So how long are you going to keep this plan up for?
You mean all 5 steps? I mean, I think like I don't need to add the cheese back into my breakfast. There are things like that. I don't think that this is something, maybe I won't be weighing I still like to weigh my protein. I probably won't weigh my carbs anymore. I think I've got a good eyeball on what that looks like for now. So I think everything else, I will continue to not do the snacks after my popsicle at night.
What do you have an idea of like how much more weight you want to lose, or are you just kind of playing it by ear?
Really, I'm not like trying to go by like the number on the scale. Right answer. I'm trying to go by, performance. Like basically, I like to eat for performance, and by performance, I don't mean like
so you can PR
athletic
your mile.
Performance. I mean like performance in life. I of course like to do well on a workout or something like that. But to me, eating is more about how I perform in life. Like, am I energized for my whole day, including like, do I feel like I have enough energy to make it through my whole day without feeling like I need to take a nap or something? Can I get through my workout and feel great and then like bounce right back into the next activity? That's really, do I feel good, like digestive wise, no stomach aches or anything like that? That has always been the motivation behind why I eat what I eat.
Your worst nightmare would be to eat a meal that makes you feel super sluggish and wants to go to sleep, or eat a meal that just makes you feel sick because it was gross, greasy, whatever.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to continue because I feel good.
Yeah.
And, I will still continue to monitor my weight. And if my weight continues to drop and it gets, towards dropping too much, then I'll have to like kind of do the opposite thing. Like, let's add some things back in.
Yeah. You probably won't pull your steps down. You'll probably just increase your calories a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add
some portions back in.
That's a good, mention, thing to mention, because like if I am adding a lot more activity, a significant amount more activity, then my weight could drop and I will need to maybe add some more calories back in.
Which you won't be too mad about, I have a feeling. Two popsicles.
There we go. 2 popsicles that night.
Oh man! All right. Well, that's the 5 things that Blakley's doing right now to drop some weight here in the summer. Feel free to steal those ideas or send her an email if you have any questions. I'm sure she'll be happy to help you troubleshoot your situation. Any other announcements?
I was going to spell my name.
Oh yeah, go ahead. It is a little bit confusing.
Blakley.
Yes.
At Digital Barbell.
That's right. It's the reverse of what you might think there in the middle. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for watching. And if you have time, leave us a review for the podcast because it really does help us reach more people. All right. Have a good day.